Today in our show, we're gonna take a look at the vintage Jean Grey from the Onslaught series from the 90s by Toy Biz. Today's review is brought to you by Amazon, Earth's most customer-centric company. Let's take a quick look at the packaging. Just so you can see, the packaging is huge. It doesn't even fit on my review table. It's just too big. And so you can see how she scales with the current action figure lines. This is the Black Series packaging, and this is the current Legends packaging. It's just huge. The packaging has this Marvel Collector Editions blurb here. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be like a premium line. This figure actually was released in 1997, so it's just at the tail end when the animated series had, capped. So you have the animated X-Men animated logo, Marvel Comics, Onslaught. You can see here Jean Grey with her psychic claw. It's this accessory here, and this is the funniest. This is mostly why I bought it. It's just like a little juggernaut in there. So funny. And on the back you can see more X-Men Onslaught, Marvel Collector's Editions. There's also a small bio here that you can pause and read now, because there's a lot to read there. Plus a beautiful artwork of Jean Grey there. I wish the figure looked like that. And on the bottom, all the figures in this wave that you could. This Onslaught actually is a bit expensive. The rest are not so much. Wolverine came with Franklin Richards, and this guy came with Ozymandias. Like, wow, yeah. I like the sculpts, the pre-pose nature of them. They were so funny, so funny. All right, so let's crack this open and find out what the fuck's. And there you go. That's Jean Grey and Juggernaut out of the packaging. As she stands, she measures around 5.51 inches tall, which is around 14 centimeters. The figure comes posed already in such a weird pose. Lord, it takes some balancing to, pose her correctly so she doesn't fall. That there were not many Jean Greys in her Jim Lee, in a pure Jim Lee style. There was another one like the Flyers, something that was supposed to come out, but she never got released. So this is as best as we get. Of course, there were other repaints and horrible attempts, but no, the authentic Jean Lee, Jean Grey never saw a release as a figure, except with this thing. All right, this is some sort of Asian-looking Jean Grey. Yeah, no, man, no. Yeah, she can move the head. That's it. Look at the wash they did on her hair. I understand the attempt. I've done this myself on my early days. Yeah, this is how you not do a wash and a dry brush. She has these shoulder pads which are glued to the figure, and they kind of hinder the articulation a bit. She has ball jointed shoulders things here, and these weird sculpts here too. I don't think she had those in the comic, but hey, artistic licenses. I like her belt. Her belt is a separate piece and it's glued on to her waist, and they sculpted that nice physique. That's the good thing. The funny thing about these figures is since there was not much articulation, you can actually go and sculpt the muscles and everything. On the back you can see they also went for the muscles there. You can see Jean Grey's poto. Yeah, they sculpted that very nice too. And they also gave her wrist articulation. Well, actually, yeah, forearm articulation, I would say. This thing can rotate, and this is a good thing for posing, because whether you believe it or not, it helps with the balancing that this figure has, and this hand also helps balance her a lot. So yeah, these are very important. As for the rest, yeah, she just has a leg cuts in the leg, so they can move forward, and there is absolutely no other type of articulation anywhere. And yeah, they had to give her this weird support here. It makes it look like she's wearing some sort of it, but she doesn't have that on the. Yeah, so it's his thing, it's what this figure does. For accessories, she comes with her psychic claw, and this will be like a fun, cool accessory, because it's articulated, it's cast in translucent red plastic, and it has actually a claw mechanism here. And it will be really cool if she could stand with it. And you're supposed to put it in her head like this. And yeah, problem is that it has erectile dysfunction problems. It just goes down, and Jean Grey cannot even stand with that. Yeah, problems. You can try to give it to your Marvel Legends Jean Grey, and actually, if you can find a way to put it without scratching the paint, Yeah, but still the same problem. Yeah, no. She also includes this little juggernaut minifigure, and it doesn't have any sort of articulation at all. It's just a little piece of chunky plastic and in color, that's it. And his face is just, yeah, you can barely see his face. I mean, why was he included with Jean Grey? They were supposed to be teaming up against Onslaught, and yeah, that didn't work out too well for Juggernaut because he was imprisoned in a Cyttorax gem casing, which is the next accessory that you're supposed to put the little figurine inside and close it. When you come to think of it, it's a nice accessory. I mean, yeah, it looks cool with a little Juggernaut trapped in the Cyttorax gem, but I wish it was, you know, it doesn't really stay closed, so you're gonna have to either choose to have your little Juggernaut there in prison forever, because this thing opens up and it falls apart. And for comparison, there we have it with other vintage figures like the yeah, the Dark Phoenix from the FAO Schwartz set, yeah, Space Rider Jean Grey, and the Marvel vs. Capcom Cyclops. These two were my default figures because I, you know, never had that one. That was the closest thing I could get to a decent Jean Grey, the Space Rider, and I modified this symbol if I recall. Funny thing, the Phoenix still lights up after all these years. And also with other versions of Jean Grey, like the Marvel Legends ones and the Marvel Universe, which is locked in that we're looking at. My god, poor thing. Yeah, this wasn't such a good Jean Grey figure, but still, it's a modern figure, so I still keep mine around. This Jean Grey is for lovers. It's for lovers. I mean, it's not gonna be anything modern, but I mean, I never had a pure Jean Grey vintage figure. But yeah, this Jean Grey will suffice. I think it's a great addition to, you know, I mean, don't spend too much on this, honestly. It's not even worth it. I can probably repurpose this thing and use it for something, you know. It's a good thought. But it got lost in the execution, I suppose. And, you know, to be honest, accessories in the 90s were not really well thought of. There's a plethora of accessories that were never useful to the figure at all. So that's it. I think that's all that has to be said for Jean Grey. In case you wanna torture yourself and buy this thing, I bought this on Amazon. It was very cheap. I have some links in the description for her and other Jean Grey figures. Alright, so if you like this video, hit the button below, share it with your crew, and be sure to subscribe. This is Hunter Knight signing out.
Wasn't that fun?
A darker tone of they were teaming. Oh, hairs. Ugh.
Impressive.